Alright guys, here we are today in the F-15E Strike Eagle. This is going to be a quick tutorial on how to both get your laser guided bombs both set up and also how to drop them as well. So first things first, as you can see, we're in the aircraft. I've got a single GBU 10 selected on one side, which is a 2,000 pounder. So math, just keep that in mind. I've got four GBU 12s, which are also laser guided bombs, but these are 500 pounds each, so 4 times 5. I've got 2,000 pounds, 4 times 500 rather. I've got 2,000 pounds of GBU 12s, and then I've got a 2,000 pound paveway, which is also a laser guided bomb on the underside of the aircraft. Again, I could go with up to 2 GBU 10s, but then again, that'd create 4,000 pounds on this side, and I can only put 2,000 pounds of the GBU 12s on this side. So just for the purpose of balancing the aircraft, I'm only going to go with 1 GBU 10. We'll go ahead and get this set up, and we'll get the aircraft started up, and then I'll show you guys how to get the laser guided bomb set up on your armament page. Alright guys, we are back in the cockpit. I've got both engines started up. One thing I failed to mention is you do want to have your targeting pod, your lantern pod set up as well to use the laser guided bombs. So with that behind us, let's go ahead and let's start getting stuff set up. So first and foremost, let's jump in the back seat. We've got our lantern pod controls for both the laser as well as the functionality of the pod here. So I've got it warming up. It usually takes a couple of minutes to warm up, but yeah, just left click it if you want the button to put it on standby, and right click if you want to push it up to on. And then you're gonna have to do this once you get in the air regardless, but yeah, you can cycle the laser on and off to arm or safe. All right, so back in the front seat, let's get our armament page set up first. So we go to armament, we go to air to ground, and if you notice, they show that they've got weapons on the rack, but they don't know which type of weapons. Now, this has changed. I've seen this change pretty much with every variant or every new update for DCS. As you can see, the lantern pod just came online. So with that said, we've got to select the payload. We've got to tell the aircraft what's on the aircrafts. The way we do this is we go back to menu, air to ground loadout. So I know in the middle I've got a GBU 24. So we go step, let's keep going step until we find the GBU 24. Here's the GBU 24. We designate that there. All right, so I know I have GBU 12s on this side because this is where I had 4 of the GBU 12s. We talked about that a little bit earlier. So as you can see, we have 2 different variants of the GBU 12s we can select. We can select the Bravo or the Charlie. The Charlie has always worked with this newest update, so we'll put the GBU 12 there. And then we have a single GBU 10. We can select either the Alpha, Bravo, or Mike. We're going to select the Alpha for it to work for the GBU 10. All right. Once that's done, we can come back to menu, air to ground, and as you can see, I've got the GBU 10, I've got the GBU 24, and the GBU 12 all selected. All right. Now, once that's out of the way, we need to start getting, so now our armament page is set up. Now we can select which weapons we want to use before we get into the air, but I'm not going to do that. But what we are going to do is select the one of them, and any of these, none of these matter, so just select one of them. Now go air ground delivery, go program page, and what we want to do is we want to take this from manual lays on our lantern pod. We want to take that to auto lays. So just cycle it a couple of times, and as you can see, it's gone from manual lays to auto lays. With that said, with that behind us, we're pretty much done with the armament page. Not worry about that. So let's get our lantern pod set up, which is very much so important. We can only use a single laser code. I think there is a way that we can use different laser codes, but for now, for the simplicity of this tutorial, we're just going to stick with 1688. We can get 1688 dialed in. That's going to be the laser codes for all 3 of the different types of bombs that we have selected. We can adjust our screen a little bit. We've got different people have different ways that they like their FLIR to be set up, but you control that with the contrast as well as brightness. So you can make the screen brighter or darker using this as well as the contrast. So yeah, just get familiar with that. And the last thing we would want to do is we would get a steer point set in here now so that the lantern pod is automatically looking at the steer point, which we don't have dialed in at the moment. So with that said, we're ready to go. We're ready to start dropping laser guided bombs. We've got this thing set up while we're on the ground rather. So next, we'll take a look at what we need to do when we get in the air. Okay guys, here we are. We have just taken off from Nellis Air Force Base. We are heading to Creech Air Force Base to do some practice bomb runs. Obviously we don't target blue force bases in real world, but Creech is nice and convenient, pretty close to Nellis, only 30 some miles away. Anyway, we have Creech dialed in as Steer 8, and we are en route. We're about 30 miles away, as you can see. So let's get ourselves set up for air-to-ground attack mode and get these laser-guided bombs set up. So first things first, let's jump in the back. Let's turn our lantern pod on. Let's recycle our laser. All right. With that said, we can go targeting pod. All right. So we've got a nice clear picture here. Now we want the targeting pod looking directly at Steer 8 because this is where my targets are going to be. So all I got to do is type in 8, and as you saw and as you can see here, this little box represents the FLIR. The lantern, as you can see, it just flew directly to Steer 8. Get my airspeed under control. So with that said, let's get her ready to start dropping. We take it to master arm to arm, air ground mode. We've already got Steer 8 set up. Let's go ahead and get her trimmed out. I always keep a twos page up, or the RWR, whatever you want to call it. It's the twos page in the Strike Eagle, just for situational awareness. We'll go to our armament page and we'll start getting ready to drop. Okay, now we're looking at our lantern pod. We need to make this our center of interest. So here we go. We now know it's our SOI because we've got the marks between the air to ground, target, waypoint, etc. And then last but not least, I want to select this, and that allows you to select between multiple fields of view for your targeting pod. So with that said, let's we can take a look at the heading tape. That's taking us to Steer 8. Also, again, we can look at this right here. This is the twos page. Will give us information on getting to Steer 8. We just need to stay on a 283 heading, and for another 15 miles, we should be there in about 1 minute and 50 seconds or so. So that's what that information is telling us. So let's get our first target set up. Looking around the airfield. What's standing out the most to me is the ATC tower. So we're going to use our 2,000 pounder for that one. We'll designate it. As soon as I designate it, as you can see, the line just came down. And now we want to get our bomb set up. So we've got the GBU-24 selected from earlier. Auto, step, nose, tail. And now we've got good information. So the heading tape is now keeping us in line with the target that we've designated, which is the ATC tower. It's telling us that we should be releasing in about 46 seconds and we're about 10 miles from target. Now, as you can see, my flight path vector is surrounded by this circle. With that, I've got kind of two limitations. One, I want to keep the flight path vector in this circle on the line for dropped. And then secondly, my laser, I want to check all this stuff right here. My laser is limited to usage up to 25,000 feet. So I've got everything armed, the laser's armed, I've got auto lays in, so we are looking good. I've already got my GBUs-24 selected. I've already got an auto step nose tail option. She's ready to go. We're within the last 10 seconds. I'm holding the pickle button. I'm just holding the button. I'm not worrying about the crosshairs yet. And release. You can see now that's gone. And now my lantern pod is telling me that it is lasing. Let's pull a quick right so that we can circle back left. It's saying that we're going to impact in about 19 seconds. The last 10 seconds are the most importante, or important for those who don't know Spanish like myself. Anyway, so we're down to the last 10 seconds. Time to impact. Got it directly on the base of the tower, and bang. There we go. Now that countdown can be a little bit off, so it may not be exactly when the countdown stops. So just make sure you continuously laze on that target, and you can see here we're still providing laser energy to that target. All right. So with that said, that's demonstrating the GBU-24. We're going to do the same thing with the other bombs. All right. So let's go to the GBU-12s, which are the 500 pounders. Step, auto, nose, tail. Take our screen all the way back out. Let's take a look. Where are we in reference? So again, now I'm kind of going, okay, where's our target at? I can go back down to my twos page, and it's telling me my target is behind me on a 153 and roughly 8 miles away. So if I, you know, we still gotta, you know, calculate the turn radius because I got to turn. But yeah, I know it's about 10 miles off my tail now. I've got my GBU-12s ready to go. Let's turn in. I'm also getting that information on the HUD, as you can see there, 11 miles away. All right. Let's go ahead and start zooming in. Let's select another target. Now the laser can be messed up by smoke. So let's pick a target. Let's go here. Let's get this building here. Actually, let's go with one of these silos right here. So we'll redesignate it, and that's going to change my lineage. That's going to change the point where the laser is looking, and that's going to change the aircraft's inputs to where they get the bomb set up. So I've redesignated. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. And once again, we're just getting set up. My hand's off the throttle. I got a lot of guys that like to accelerate, decelerate, whatever the case may be, but my hand's off the throttle. Getting my crosshairs on, and now again I'm just getting set up, double checking everything. Laser's arm, I'm up auto laser, so it's going to do all the work for me. I don't have to worry about firing the laser. I've got my correct weapon set up. It's saying it's ready. So all we do is the same thing we did with the GBU-24. I'm going to give it a little bit more power just to kind of expedite this. I don't want you guys sitting here for too long. But once I get to 10 seconds for my time of release, I'm making sure this circle is on the line. I'm seeing my countdown coming. I'm holding the pickle button, and as you can see, I'm not even worrying about the crosshairs. Bomb away. So this went from 4 to now 3. It's saying I got about 30 seconds to impact. I'm rolling right. These aircraft are set up to continuously look to the left. So I'm rolling right to get a little bit of offset, and now I'm just making a slow left turn, and I can tell that it's off my left side. The lantern pod's looking off my left side because that's where the box is. Anyway, I got my crosshairs directly over it. It's lasing. Everything is looking good. I'm going to level the aircraft out a little bit. Bang. All right. As you can see, good hit. Now I can keep doing this with the 10s, or with the GBU-12s, but nope. Let's go ahead and switch it up. Let's get a different target selected. Let's select. Let's go with you right here. Let's go ahead and designate. As you can see, just designated as indicated here. We'll go to the GBU-10, auto step, nose tail. She's ready to go. And now let's head outbound. Where am I in relationship to the target? This blue arrow is letting me know that the target is off of my left 6 to 7 o'clock. It's 5 miles away, and I need to turn to about a 320 heading to get lined up with that target, which I'm not going to. We're going to stretch it out to about 10 miles. We'll turn in. I've already designated. So once I designate it, now the information, every time I redesignate, now that information is being passed to my twos as well as on my my HUD, and letting me know, the distance from the target. And then I get some additional information here, heading, estimated time to be flying directly over it. So we'll come up, we're at 10 miles. We'll go ahead and turn in. As you can see, the laser pointer is on the last building I designated. Rather, the lantern pod is looking at the last building I've designated. Just want to keep her smooth, keep her steady. Again, I'm not making a bunch of power adjustments. Just making a nice, smooth, steady turn. Watching my airspeed. And all I'm doing is trying to get her set up within parameters. What does that mean? As I've already demonstrated, I just want to get the flight path vector on the line. I want to make sure that circle is staying within the line the entire time. Let's go ahead. We've got a good sight on our target. I can redesignate it if I want, but I think we're good to go. And I'm double checking everything. Arm, auto lays, she's ready. Let's get the circle, the flight path vector back on the line. Now, if I wanted to expedite this, I could bump up the throttle a little bit. That would save a little bit of time, but we're not going to do that. Hopefully, you guys got another minute or two until we're to watch this, and we'll be done with this video. All right, redesignate it. Holding the pickle button, you see how the circle is a little bit to the right, so I'm bringing it left. We're straight on it, leveling the aircraft. Pickle button is continuously being held. And there we are, bombs away. Now I've got 1,500 pounds on one side, so the aircraft is drifting. I've got 30 seconds to impact, which is okay. So again, we're getting her set up to look to the left. So coming hard right. And now a slow, smooth turn to the left. Now we put our focus onto the target. The lantern pod, so this is the aircraft. This is where the lantern pod is looking. Last 10 seconds are the most important. I've got her right on the building, and I am just making a slow left turn. Bang. There it is. All right, guys. So with that said, that's going to pretty much wrap up the tutorial. I can't emphasize how important it is to have for the laser guided bombs, to have your lantern pod set up. All right. If you've got checks you've got to make before each drop. You got to make sure your laser is armed. Yeah, so you can't just randomly drop. Make sure the laser's armed, and again, we do that by jumping in the back seat, just by hitting the button 2, and we can safe it and arm the laser back here. Now that we're done with the tutorial, I'm gonna turn the lantern pod off, take it to standby, and we are RTB. I hope this helps, guys, and if you got any questions, just let me know, and I'll see you guys for the next one.